来所我的这边我主张本家所当铁柱马为念满给人年月大悲自己马所接大美拉玛松拉所我的大美拉玛松拉所我的常住不念去言多解当国松恩有家我言三百罗罗阿达三业也是下开住前波松来所我的开住前波松来所我的罗桑去给家真真대예 도세 건조 야제샤 라마사 세제로사 예시데 제제라마 소라소데 제제라마 소라소데 더den 배생아와의 잠바다 대예 도세로산예자자 야도타의연대다예가 제제라마 소라소와게 대제라마 소라소와게 로사예시den바라게제 로드산로드그나로제 로사야외추수진케바 소메라마 소라소와데 소메라마 소라소와데 계산나데 시베모도데 시주니게 제자다데와 가데냐메 자웨라마라 청순드바 쳔부소와데 거손그바 쳔부소와데 마트나바 샤웨긴보게 레제주메리다소니세 갸사두제무세군데니 벤징케루 샤라소원데 벤징케루 샤라소원데 예솔갸네 말르두베구 도사자벨레제조게소 라와사견레론도갸즈토 대제주베구라 Chamba Sunde La Sor Panuki Tugi Le Ganyan De Bezo Namai Shi Le Gyazu Gujenge Yon Gyaji Lama Fode Yon Gyaji Lama Sode Lozan Gyawai Gundi Yishini Chidu Cheme Gyande Zibeto Avajai Kingur Gyazu Trudugu Tijela Me Shala Sowade Tijela Me Shala Sowade Ayawa Sai Gyate Nimbuso Tinge Gyate Lade Chuveso Seso Wangyo Tumba Mebezi Nama Duvede La Sowade Nama Duvede La Sowade Major Lord Simon Yavede Bella Jimmy Dade Jugire Kewanga Jemande Nujo Haye Dunje Gunje Sowande Haye Dunje Gunje Sowande Raja Sura Gula Tawemi Razan Tamadru Bejumocho Sewe Gebe Tage Zembai Seze Shinye Nama Sode Seze Shinye Nama Sode Ade Lame Nama Tabala Geji Samya Lo Dam Yi Geshi Shizele Batong We Mu Gi Lame Shi La Se La Jo Ba Jo Om Bhajan Bhumya Om Vaje Sage Swaji Om Bhajare Geya Chi Jare Koyo Ge Kowe Uso Re Gyabo Re Shalo Pabo Lo Zambu No Balaji Cha Jamye Nye Do Dan Do Ba Ngaya Dan Ngaya Ji Yo Den Dan Dan Chur Namye Nyan Dan Jamye Nyan Ge Da Rinpo Chi Rivo Pa San Ge Shin Do Je Ba Mama Pa Ye Lo To Kolo Rinpo Chi Nobu Rinpo Chi Sumo Rinpo Chi Lumpo Rinpo Chi Lampo Rinpo Chi Da Sho Rinpo Chi Mampo Rinpo Chi Te Shenpo Ye Bumpa Ge Ma Chengwa Ma Lu Ma Kalam Medo Ma Dubo Ma Nasa Ma Cheja Ma Nye Ma Da Wa Rinpo Chi Du Chode Nampa Gyawe Gyase Oso Lada Mi Penjoro Punso Soba Ma Sangwa Me Ba Sang Xin Yi Du Wang Wa Di Da Chin Jen Sang Wa Da Tebe Bade Lama Tamba Namda Keba Duyang Yangzo Tembe Ngada Jesu Losan Gede Jide Wanshu Pea Sambo Shengane Teba Che Songjo Sambo Shuwe Yudu Shingang Buwe Gyu Tuje Zhuwe Dundu She Su Su Nune Gyang Da So Zhuwa Ma Yu Nange Dana Nyambe Senjen Tamje Tuze Wa Chenpo Gune Jingi La Du
Sanje Sumba Rabde Shije Devi Jujoba Deda Shije Dambi Chunye Sene De She Aya Genanda Dandam Jeke Rwanda Dame Genanda Rwa Kunje Dana Jizamba Tam Jeke De Dage Chudon Do Majana Genta Danyam Be Simje Tam Jeke Danda Tozana Nam Vayanda Bazabe Sonje Yako Murumbo Jechene Jo Tabacha
So, for the sake of all mother sentient beings equaling the limits of space, oneself must attain by every means a state of full enlightenment, Buddhahood. And for this purpose, we shall now listen to these teachings. So, please clarify your motivation in such a way and listen in such a manner. Yes.
Da konsen bazaye chune nunda jiwe somje nyamsang wer madan de ma songwa me ba de ba ndi chungju lamje rim ba ji de non sen da jiwe chungo ko ani jam du kap ji imber da jam de non ne da chiba da non be ndi ton ba da tembi chibar de kap imber.
So here the teachings that we're listening to today is the teaching on the graduated path enlightenment, which contains all the stages of training, the graduated path of training for all the three scopes of beings that was totally present without any lacking. And so within this text we have come to the section upon refuge, section of refuge, and within the section of refuge we've come to the section of distinguishing between the founders or the teachers of the Buddhist and the non-Buddhist path, establishing the differences upon that of these two types of teachers. Yes.
Da kapso yon pe le da donga somne donga mo boyo de ki le da de yon ni taba to ya me wa ji le da ko wa do me to yin ba de den da yon nombe den ba ne ko be jun ne le da do bar che ba ta le da nomba ma yin ba nam ne kowalan juwarche ba chade yore tenyo da kowe zawa danzi mareba chade yore enza kowe zawa danzi mareba yinba de ngwe ma se bache da kene tende che de kowe zawa de bige tenyo tombi so na che tene kowala juro mo ko de ya che re na nomba de jembe che tende chade nombe temada rene tanda sonje jamne ne ka khande che yina yo kowale dogi tapso sumba tenyo ne danze mare ba dogi tapso sumba shada yembare tende yende da tembe chebar ne chi kowe june dogse chi chen kowe june pa juse chi chade yodu da teni bu ganda ge sono 제발 진보지 줘도요.
So we've come to section of page 189, and here we talk about the distinction of the teachings. The bottom page 189, the root text. And here, as mentioned before, the path that is taught by the Buddha is that of a joyful path that produces the fruits or results of bliss. Whereas those of the non-Buddhist path involve a lot of hardships, and the results do not lead to the bliss of liberation, does not lead one to attain the states of liberation, and hence are unable to reverse cyclic existence, unable to stop the circling of cyclic existence. Whereas in the Buddhist path, the teachings in the Buddhist path can cause one to stop the circling within cyclic existence, and whereas the non-Buddhist path, the teachings of the non-Buddhist paths lead oneself to cause oneself to enter or to further circle within cyclic existence. So therefore, at this point of time, because the root of cyclic existence, samsara, is the clinging to the inherently existing self, and so such form of ignorance is the cause of samsara. And the non-Buddhist teachers, their teachings and followers, they do not recognize, do not acknowledge such a cause of samsara. Therefore, they proclaim or they hold on to an internal self or inherently existing self. And therefore, independence of that, then they build their teachings and their tenets. So therefore, their teachings lead one to continue circling within cyclic existence, to enter within cyclic existence. So therefore, this is the results of non-Buddhist path. Whereas the teachings of the Buddha, since the time of the Bhagavan Buddha till now, all the teachings of the Buddha are methods to leading to this ceasing of cyclic existence, that causes one to be free from cyclic existence. And they are also antidotes to the root of cyclic existence. So therefore, in comparing these two paths, the Buddhist and the non-Buddhist paths, the non-Buddhist path leads one to enter within cyclic existence, to continue circling cyclic existence.
Long-lasting samsara. The cause of long-lasting samsara.
So the non-Buddhist paths, the teachings of non-Buddhist path cause one to experience long-lasting samsara, long-lasting cyclic existence. Whereas the Buddhist path cause one to achieve liberation, cause one to stop samsara, cyclic existence. Yes.
Nomba Mahimba, Reda Cheruba, Kashini Tabasaya Ken Lengi, Tabang who sent to Guamari. The Tabasaya de Yumomadiba Pombe, Trovaji Tobayina, Taba, Redan, Kova, Lenyon, Kova Jing de Arwa, Kova Jing de Vati, Jingba de Pa Trone, and the Taba Tokuori. You do it. Attendene Covid Zava Lenyon Yingo, Kova Jing de Jimba Toyate, Tango Sin Tokyomari. In the Dagi, Zava de Lenyon Zava, Danzi Mariba Todio into Tayong Sin Tokyomari. And the concert Tabasayade, Kashigan and Kasoshia Noji, at Sisum Kone Chone. And Gibson Yatomba in a Taba Toba in Seattle. That I get and Saji Cheba Kashi Tabando, not Saji Cheba, Benada. Sitting with you that told you to go and the Taba Toba is a singing. That in the younger. And Dangazo, and sitting with you Toba in Nayo, go there, Covid to be choosy Remado, and the Tabi. Tabi Tabalan Robiomara. Yet, Tandangazu, Kova Seate, Dongaji Rojiris, and then Kova Donga Rojin, the Sete Tamio, Dongaji Rojin the Taco. And the Sete, Tandeno Sova, Mazotanda, Sova Dongaji Noji, the Yomarete, Yenayo, Tien Engene on Ten. Redan, Yon Chujo Sonochi, Chatting. At the end, the Sete Lion. Tandangazo Tabatoni Lochi do Gona, Suzanne Dungaji the Tane, tell the Tandoji Loche go Yori. Danda, Seruba, Traganoji, Tabandoni to the China, and this is English you do the Tarbayins, 10 daughter Yori. Tendichedi, that's the thing which you Toby, Tabso, Candice Beba in Nayo, Kovan Koya, Jucha, the Yorimato, Koa Tabis on the Rubio Mari.
So, for the non-Buddhist paths, some of the non-Buddhist paths, they do acknowledge the state of liberation. However, just merely positing or expounding such a state of liberation doesn't necessarily mean that they can attain such states of liberation. They do acknowledge liberation, however, they do not achieve it, because the definition of a state of liberation is whereby one has completely abandoned all the afflictive emotions without exception. So what binds us to cyclic existence is the fetters or the bondage of karma and the kleshas, the karma and the afflictive emotions. So therefore, these afflictive emotions and karma are what binds us to samsara. And being free of such bondage of karma and afflictions is what we call as what we name as liberation. Such a state is called liberation. However, the non-Buddhists are unable to attain such a state of liberation, whereby one has totally abandoned karma and afflictions. So, as mentioned before, they are unable to even recognize the root of cyclic existence. The thought clinging onto the inherently existent self, unable to see such a cause of cyclic existence, let alone abandon the karma and afflictions that arise from it. So the certain non-Buddhist paths even they present such methods for attaining liberation that's totally irrelevant. For example, like as mentioned before, some non-Buddhists, they leap onto tridents and saying that if you were to land on the trident with the trident piercing all the way from your bottom of your feet all the way to the top of your head in a straight line, then you attain liberation in such a way. So they present such forms of methods for achieving liberation which are totally irrelevant. And then also posit certain contaminated states of existence as liberation. For example, certain states of mental concentration called the peak of cyclic existence, the peak of samsara, and they posit that as liberation. Whereas from a Buddhist point of view, these states of meditative absorptions are not states of liberation. So, from the Buddhist viewpoint, the entirety of cyclic existence is in the nature of suffering. Even the highest states of cyclic existence, the peak of cyclic existence, is still a state of suffering. So even though in that state there is no manifest or gross forms of suffering, however, they still contain, they still are included within the nature of suffering.
The tip of samsara, it is contaminated. Contaminated seed of delusions. So therefore, so the aggregated contaminated seed of disturbing thoughts. So there's ne and so that then because it is there, then any time the suffering can be compounded, that creates suffering any time, so you can experience sort of that. So therefore, it's all natural. Even that tip of samsara is only natural suffering.
So, because it's a contaminated state, it contains the seed of suffering, which can manifest into suffering. And so, therefore, it's still considered a state of cyclic existence, a contaminated phenomena. And for those who desire the states of liberation, that particular state, even though being the highest portion of cyclic existence, still needs to be renounced. It's a state that one should desire to be free from. So whereas the non-Buddhist paths may hold such a state of existence as liberation, but no matter how much they tend to practice, how much effort they apply to achieving such a state, they do not achieve liberation, but achieve only samsara. Yes.
Suru betemba nyomo choma che metobachi nyomo embarda suru tanda nam da dende namsu nomba yena nyomo choma togu yomade neda tanda da nam ne jidembe nam samne nguje sejing nguje da zumi nguje se ano dende ma do komya yomara 다 대전에 담에 도고 다와도 차는데요. 그 메토게 되는지 변해지 임바래. 대개는 그게 내가 녀몽원조 바시바는 거지 용기 얼마도 녀몽세네 본투야도 용기 얼마래. 더 녀몽세네 본아 제발라 담에도 베시라고 거기로. 근데 인자다 nombe 덴바테 녀몽는 바도 집에 담임 받아. 대리 예만나 아니 녀모 다 정도 매가지 배는다 무대가 다 주세요 대개는 단다 something jada, and this may share things in Remji Gom, and you sitting with your top. Sitting with your top another, Taba Toba in something, Mujila number June Muja. In the day of Maduva Rabba and Muja, you do Rabba and the Sitigas. Jaymer. Dako Nyamja thought you true in the Gonani, Rabba Chedioro. That this is a Java Hakon and Cecilia Conrolo. Is that Coron Yomojo Maton and Control Yoro? Control on Guja the Yam, and it that Tamba Mendoina Meloda Jene and Yava Jesua. Then they are. Then they ended that and Yomojo to be a melody.
你看啥地名开始？
好久。
So, therefore, the Buddhist paths contain methods to completely purify all the afflictive emotions. However, the non-Buddhist paths do not possess such an ability. If one were to cultivate a spiritual practice following a non-Buddhist path, one would not be able to completely purify all of the afflictive emotions. The non-Buddhist paths are worldly paths whereby they concentrate the highest possible states they could attain would be those of the absorptions of the formless realms. And if one formless realms are the peak, at most the peak of cyclic existence. However, they do not possess the means for wisdom of selflessness, of realizing the wisdom of selflessness, and also such corresponding meditative concentrations are not possible for the non-Buddhist paths. And so within such states of concentrations, meditative absorptions in the formless realms, even though they do not have gross afflictive emotions manifesting, however, this does not mean they have abandoned afflictive emotions entirely. So one can only manage to stop the gross afflictive emotions from manifesting. One is unable to abandon them entirely merely by depending upon such meditative concentrations. Worldly meditative concentrations. And so, hence, one needs the wisdom of emptiness in order to abandon the roots of cyclic existence. So only such methods are taught in the Buddhist path. Through the wisdom of emptiness, one abandons such afflictive emotions. And so there was once a non-Buddhist practitioner called Hagjo. Then he was practicing, cultivating the absorptions of the four types of meditative absorptions as well as the absorptions of the formless realms. And then he achieved the peak of cyclic existence, rebirth in the peak of cyclic existence. And then he, at that point of time...
The 4 levels of the concentration of the form realms.
Yes.
Then 4 states of formless realms. Achieved.
No. Highest meditative state of absorption. So he achieved the highest state of meditative absorption of the formless realm, and he thought that he had achieved liberation there and then, and he remained for a long time within that state of meditative absorption. Then I think his karma finished, right? No. Okay. He remained in absorption, and then he grew very, his hair became really, really long. And then I think rats came at you then.
Remaining in that state, meditation, for an incredible length of time. So the hairs grew, that Hindu, the hairs grew very, very long.
And then?
Then realized that the mouse, eating the hairs.
It's chewing.
Mouse walking around eating the hairs. Then realized that, saying that, then because delusion is not removed, it's only temporarily stopped. It's not removed completely. So then anger came when he saw the hairs, they eaten by mouse. So then that realization is reached that state of concentration. You see, there's a continual stable that meditation state. You see, concentration degenerated. then that matter should be reborn. Angry, and angry, then lost that level of the mental state. The continual stable, the contemplation, that's degenerated. Then reborn in the after that lower realms.
Yes.
And you cheba jelani tando melwata song imare. And that sonje tembate tabanobe doza because sonje tembi Jesus shubina and lamdela then taba toju in the tando melwares song imare. That's a little bit tembai there, because taba tobi said the shuba is and nayo tonada koa and koala 콜 대아마도 고아를 타바제바지 용투 매야래 대요단다 고아 동아지로 이제는 폰에 근데 고변 부족나 세바 순진지 님모 된리지 여와이나 된리지 선별로지 요나 다타비죠는 로스 대안하게 남에도 비시럽지 선바이나 그게 세배자와 조세진님모 송자 타비죠 로고요 내가 너무 정주선에서 못하고 나 된리지 마종이나 나는서 있나요 내가 그래다 그게 인종 삼마제다 아니 다음에 다 다방을 맞잖아요 제대로 이메 봐 인삼마로 된리지다 아니 정주선 다 주만 정주 된리지에서 마종이나 개조 간지 제가 있나요 kumyo ronga wa no ko ko ba yin se sum ba ro yin da de cha de yo re da ngan so no ji yin na yo de cha de yo yin de che ru bi da da nga ge jo kan de che ya yin na yo en ta ba tok tok bi me re de le yin de tan do de la lam de la ten ta ba to me do ba yin de tan do me lo de cha ge yo ma re
Infallible desire of liberation. Yes. So for those beings who are entering into the Buddhist path, then there is an infallible desire to achieve liberation. Whereas for those who the non-Buddhist paths, for those following a non-Buddhist path, they
no cheating, no deceiving.
Yes, non-deceptive.
Who is seeking the liberation? For those who are seeking liberation, there's no cheating from the side of the teaching of the Buddha.
Yes. So there's no deception from the side of the teachings. Of no deception with regards to achieving liberation for those who have entered the teachings of the Buddha. And for those who follow a non-Buddhist path, then there is deception, even though they enter into the teachings of the non-Buddhist path with the desire to be free of cyclic existence. However, they're unable to attain the actual state of liberation due to the nature of the teachings they follow. And so generally we say that the mind
whatever this the outsiders, Chiroba, the outsiders, the anti-Buddhist were outsiders. So because of lack of renunciation of the samsara, all those, the principles of the path to enlightenment, lack of that. So whatever virtue they collect never become cause of liberation. No matter how much they collect the virtue, nothing becomes cause to achieve liberation.
So because of such a lack of renunciation, all virtuous actions they engage in do not become the cause for liberation. Just as because of lacking the wisdom of selflessness, they are unable to remove the roots of cyclic existence. Just as for Buddhists, if we do not have such a renunciation, whatever practices we do not become a cause for liberation also. And whatever practices we do that are not held within the, not bound with the mind of bodhicitta, do not become the cause for enlightenment. Likewise, so hence, whatever practices the non-Buddhists do, then it only becomes a cause for circling within cyclic existence, and therefore, whatever practice they do does not become a cause for liberation. Yes.
Reta, ju chesong, nyomo cheda dun roya mato, tela ten, perché chudon tuma nyamne cheve yina, nyomo pevi chen roya che mederwa. Tende yinde taji to geva chade yore. Ta tele yembe temba tese lab yinde kona, perché ju chesong dun roya, ta kabo yimare. Tenyo kashi yinde ta chadona gong dun roya, perché temba da show yinde. 인다단다 서르베라 온초다 참조다 아니 창바 가콘데 나 쪼었음데 대책이 어려워 근데 대체연도 거는다 그래서 대책에 그게 노조들 때는다 성바와 되던 레트먼 페이요하기 전에 온주진은 어디서 녹장 배경이야서로 잠조기진은 어디서 다 그랬다 요르도 시와이나 아니 다바도 그래서야 된대체네 셰동 배경이야 된대차 용요리 너 된대체도 지도 타지도 개바다 지고된 타지도는 존재인 바 된대체 봐 용요지
那些看就给独家控制，他把他当可能。
온주게 온주 다 등에 소이나 더 잡혀 용서 자용요 단단한데 단다 온주게 땡라 내가 뭐 용도 어디 되지 대한 이제 참주 땡에 소이나 참주게 용내네 만족감의 시와이나 다바도 그래서 이어도 시스 다 된대게 때문에 시동 perio요 다 somba kono jigden tamji 제바보니 sombe진오게 대인바 chanjoji 근데 제연도 다 때문에
So the teachings of the Buddha are singularly pure. They're totally pure in the sense that they, as one practices the Dharma, the Buddhist Dharma, then one's mind becomes gradually purified. One's mental continuum becomes more and more virtuous and purified, more and more virtuous, more and more positive. Whereas for those, and then the mental afflictions gradually become more and more purified. One's more gradually becomes purified of the mental afflictions. Whereas for the non-Buddhist path, this does not occur. So the Buddhist path is, in this way, is virtuous or pure. It is virtuous and positive in the beginning, middle, and ending. And for the non-Buddhist paths, if one practices the non-Buddhist path, certain paths cause one to gradually, one's mental continuum to be gradually increase in terms of mental afflictions such as anger and attachment and so forth. For example, in the non-Buddhist path, the three main deities, Ishvara, Vishnu, and Brahma, these are the three main deities. And when the teachings that are given by these deities for their followers, then they increase the mental afflictions of these followers. For example, Brahma proclaims himself to be the creator of the world, and in this way, then saying that all creatures are his creations or the offspring of Brahma. So in this way, advocating ignorance within the followers, the mind stream of the followers. Then with regards to Ishvara, then towards the disciples, then advocates the worship of the sexual organ, and so in this way increasing the desirous attachment of the disciples. Whereas Vishnu, teachings of Vishnu then advocates that for those who die in war, that achieve liberation. So therefore, increasing the thoughts of anger within the disciples. So in this way, the non-Buddhist paths, then have faulted paths, paths with faults, thereby not being a perfect or a pure path. Yes.
So the Buddhist teaching is always all the time is a virtue.
Yes. Totally virtuous at all times. Yes. Intellectually, artificial. Yes. So then the Buddhist path contains the distinctive feature of being able to purify the faults, wrongdoings. Yes, able to purify the wrongdoings or the. Yes. So then there within this we talk about the delusions, the different kinds of afflictive emotions within the mind stream of a sentient being. There are those that are innate mental afflictions. These innate mental afflictions are ones that have been with us since beginningless lifetimes. And those that are intellectual, that are formed due to intellectual influence, these are brought about by tenets, different types of tenets, or due to their influence, then one arises different kinds of.
The simultaneous born disturbing thought, and then all labeled or the intellectual, the wrong concept delusions that happened due to the mental continuum is defected with this wrong concept due to wrong outsider the schools. So that's outside the Buddhist schools, Buddhist teachings. So those outer schools, their wrong concept, wrong philosophy, defected the middle continuum. So that's a kundak, the disturbing, the all labeled disturbing thought.
So this way, the mind stream becomes affected or affected by such views, affected by such mental afflictions, and so when one practices the Buddhist path, one concentrates upon the wisdom or the view of emptiness, selflessness. So when one comes to directly realize this view of selflessness, when it's a direct realization of emptiness, then all these faults or wrongdoings, faults of the intellectually formed mental afflictions are then totally purified. So this is a feature of the Buddhist path that is...
By actualizing the rising path.
What? The rising...
By actualizing the rising path.
By actualizing the rising...
Rising path.
The right-seeing path. Right-seeing path. This is a path of seeing, right-seeing path. So such when one achieves such a state, then the intellectually formed mental afflictions are purified. So this is a feature of the Buddhist path that is not found within the non-Buddhist path.
Dan tanda shodaya deje ene dene ma pongwa chene yongduwa zate pege tsekoron devondo da zinrim gochi ma kane choje temba ne deve deva topji ba dele ma be sing choje yungno ne ronde te soin ne cheba deve deva toba dela tene ne roba chero ke temba te ba chegin do sunyachi.
So in this manner, differentiating between the Buddhist and non-Buddhist paths, the teachings of the Buddhist and non-Buddhist paths. So here, clarifying one point is that in the Tibetan term, we refer to the Buddhist path as the inner path, and the non-Buddhist path as the outer path. So there is a typical term used in Tibetan language to refer to the Buddhist and non-Buddhist paths. So here, then we move on in the text, whereby Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from the Praise of the Exalted One on page 190. It says here, your teaching causes one to attain the bliss through the joyful. Therefore, all liars and speakers, intelligent beings, have faith in your tradition. So therefore, as mentioned before, the path is the joyful one, and the results are those of the blissful states of liberation. Yes.
Kone nyomon namjang kong, tenye bawa choga tong shenji tseji chebala. Dene jibu teji nyi, dene sanje kan dene, jigde, ta, te kona jinda tenba melwa res. Tenne lu chu yu se ta, teli jembe chu na ne lu chu mbashi song yimba.
So then, continues to say, the difference between your words, O hero, and the words of others is that the former should be adopted, and the latter rejected. The former purifies and the latter defiles. The former is strictly reality, the latter only misleading teachings. So here referring to the Buddhist teachings as being those that are truthful and non-deceptive, whereas the others are those that deceive. Yes.
대에 구시 예구바 내에 다바 진저바 대인 공부 초가도 현재 책이 제반나 시송데 대에 견제지 시반에 시반 넣어서 다 다게 쉬대한 너 이제 그게 로속에서는 제게다 종제 제 종들을 줘봐 근데 인도 다 제발 만나봐 다 될을 하고 매대하는 거지 인도 제발도 시비 고네 그래다 So then,
so in this way, understanding the differences between the teachings, understanding that one set, one path has is that with faults, and the other path is that is free of faults, So therefore, knowing that there's no greater distinction than comparing the teachings in this way, that there's no greater distinction that one can know other than comparing the teachings in such a manner. So therefore, having understood the differences, then one should understand that one is a one path, the Buddhist path, the teacher of the Buddhist path is that the teachings of the Buddhist path are totally pure, and the teacher is non-deceptive, whereas the other paths are impure and the teachers can be deceptive. Yes.
다 제발 시베 제네 세로베 템바 중전인 바도 tomba대요 다 tom바베게 멜로와 마인바 세마 마인바 된den게 바 제네 대단한 남이 잡선 멜로와 단신도 마마하세요 된데 차기요.
So in this way, knowing that the non-Buddhist path, the teachings are not totally pure, and the teachers are not totally the founder. Okay, the founders of the other paths are not totally undeceptive. So in this way, one should go for refuge through having achieved certainty with regards to such distinctions. One should practice refuge through disavowing, not acknowledging, refusing to acknowledge the other refuges as valid refuges. Yes.
말이다. 시에서인데 되게 인지지 제발 시발 넣어서 tomba도 땜비 제발 시연이나 다 되냐면서 놓은 게 공사기 제발용 시용 그러와. 근데 제로베 견도 옛날 그게 tomba용 고베 존재 그 되게 대 땜바대요 년세도 제발. 근데 냠서 내용도요 그게 녀몬 배용야마도 고발도 못 봐. 다 nombe tomba ne chong tam je se yonde kunzo je tomba tsema de song de yo tando de melo de nyamzo no na ta ba top je yo yin de nyamzo no ge che ba yo tanda tomba de tembi che ba shi na de nyamzo no ge gonza ge chome yo shi ge res.
So in this way, understanding the different founders, the differences between the founders and their teachings, then one can understand also the resulting practitioners. So in this way, it says here, you can also understand the distinction of the community, which is referring to the Sangha, the community of practitioners. If one looks at the non-Buddhist paths or the elder paths, one finds that the founders are afflicted with the faults of cyclic existence, and the teachings that they reveal are harmful and are faulty and harmful. And those who practice or cultivate these paths are unable to put a stop to cyclic existence, and on the contrary, their mental afflictions get increased. Whereas if you look at the inner path, the founder of the inner path, the Buddhists, they are valid founders, valid teachers, because of being free of faults, and the teachings are non-deceptive. And also those who cultivate these paths, the Buddhist path, are able to achieve a state of liberation. So in this way, one can know the distinctions between the greater or the lesser founders, the teachings, as well as the practicing communities. One can know the distinctions or the superiority and inferiority of through these two different types of paths. Yes.
다때네 잡서 손에 라버 잡에를 말하니 해서 한다. 잠들 한다. 삽제노나 동보 조건나 되는 잡선 로와. 요건나 되는 말 요건나 잡선 로와세. 내가 제삼지 잡서 손에 제 잡서 손에 라버 잡에를 말서 삽제 제요되게 단시 받을 레버죠. 이제 제가 잡서 손에 라버 잡에를 말하니 도발은 중화다 맹하는 중화고 다 도와 바바 통미 송 이말 도발은 중화 되는 중화다 맹하는 중화 라버는 별로 고만 남지 맹하는 중화세요. 이다 되는 전반이요.
So then we move on to the next section, which is that of one's having gone for refuge, the stages of the precepts. So this is the fourth, in the fourth part, outline of regarding to section of refuge. The first one being the causes of refuge, causes of going for refuge. The second being based on that, the objects to which you go for refuge. And the third section is the way of going for refuge. And now here the fourth section on page 191, which is once you've gone for refuge, the stages of the precepts. This is divided into two sections. The first one, how they appear, how the stages of the precepts appear in the Compendium of Determinations. This is a text composed by Arya Sangha. And the next one is how they appear in the oral tradition. So oral tradition are the personal instructions of the Lamrim lineage lamas. Yes. So here, the first one, how they appear in Compendium of Teachings, this has two sets of subdivisions. The first set of subdivisions has four outlines. Firstly, relying on excellent persons. Secondly, listening to the sublime teachings. Thirdly, fixing your attention properly on them. And fourthly, cultivating a practice that conforms with the teachings. So here we are on the first outline, relying on excellent persons, excellent beings. Yes.
손제라 잡도마보 ényamne möbe gone 잡선 로고 요지 다 손제라 잡도마보 ény삼네 möbe gone 잡선 송안인데 대동 지선 tumba 당한테 두바 차고야 두바 차와데 가르세나 지우 담바가 무슨 된 거래서 얘다 지우 담바 무슨 된야 되다 그래는 잡도마보 손제라 잡도마보 뭐가 노지 지우 담바데 롱게다 그 논도진에 dombapo muba gone and 신이 소진도 된 거고요.
So here, one goes for refuge. So here we have such advices about how to practice the precepts of refuge. Having taken refuge, how to practice the precepts. So the first one is relying upon an excellent person. Excellent persons are holy beings. And here one goes for refuge to the Buddha through seeing the Buddha as the teacher of refuge. So the corresponding practice that is to be taken up after having gone for refuge to the Buddha jewel is to rely upon holy beings or excellent persons, excellent beings, by seeing them as teachers of refuge, as teachers of the path. By relying upon them to teach a path to us, relying upon them in the same way as we rely upon the Buddha as a teacher of refuge. Yes.
이말다 신년담만 연대 탐지진에서 돈을 댄 바대스. 근데 신년담마다 연대 탐지제 네야 연대 탐지진 용내다고 차대요 여러와. 근데 연대에서 해야 되다 주님하면서 내내 론지도 똑바지고 요지. 연대 근데 똑바지야 돼. 돈바는 투바지는 시고 여러와. 마시 발라 냠서노야 용마와 시발 제발라 아니 뭐나 답디 신년 담바 된대지라 때네 두고 요인도 연대 담지진 용내 소임.
So here the text says, you rely on excellent teachers when you see them as the source of all good qualities. So here the reference to excellent teachers or such holy beings as being the source of all good qualities or the place of all good qualities, being that when one needs to practice, because oneself as a practitioner, one needs to practice the Dharma, and through cultivating Dharma practice, then one gives rise to realizations within one's mind stream. And so in order to do that, firstly, one needs to perform extensive hearing of the Dharma teachings, because through hearing the Dharma teachings, one comes to know the Dharma. So one needs to know the Dharma through hearing. Without hearing the teachings, listening to the teachings, one does not know the Dharma and therefore cannot practice. So in order to perform extensive listening of the Dharma, one needs to rely upon the virtuous friend, in this case the excellent teacher, in order to be able to know the Dharma, practice it, and achieve the realizations that one desires. Yes. So then we move on to the next section, page 193. And this here, the next 2 points are explained together: to listen to the sublime teachings and to fix your attention properly on them. So here, when one goes for a refuge to the, one relies upon the holy beings or the excellent persons, here they're considered holy because they do not deceive their disciples. So in this way, one relies upon them and performs extensive hearing of the sutras.
This is Tambichu, this is the holy Dharma, this is the teaching itself. So why it's called holy, Tambichu, the holy Dharma, why it's called holy is because it doesn't deceive the sentient beings who are object of subdued. So that's why it's called holy.
So that definition was referring to the teachings, the holy Dharma. So one needs to listen to such extensively, to the sutras or the holy Dharma of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha. So and then having heard these teachings, then to contemplate upon their meaning within one's mind, and then to give birth to such realizations within one's mind stream. So in this way, the practice to be taken up, having gone for refuge to the Dharma jewel, then the corresponding practice that is to be taken up is to focus upon the verbal as well as the realized teachings as one's main object of focus. Then here one listens extensively, firstly, to the verbal, the spoken teachings, and then this way, through contemplating them, then to realize these teachings within one's mind. So this is the practice to be taken up. Yes.
Imbarda, Chushi, Drade, Toncho and Juan Sunyaje, Yore, Toncho and Julian, the Chu, Drade, Godin, Yonela, and Jugres, Lamla and Jugres, Yatenderson. And Yende, Chuji, Jason, Tumbi, Chu drop, say Hindu, Chuji, Jason, Tom, say Yaki, Chu de, Nyandela Kongore. Tedo Jason to be chew drop, say Adeda, Lamla Basan Yamsaliata, Kono.
So then we come to the next section, which is cultivating a practice that conforms with the teachings. Cultivating a practice that conforms with the teachings. So here, the teachings, as the teachings are being expounded, verbalized, then one enters into the meanings of the teachings. So the verbal meanings of the teachings point towards truth of cessation, the states of cessation, and the truth of the path, the true path. So therefore, all the teachings then lead one to the state of nirvana or emancipation. So here, one needs to cultivate, one needs to practice in accordance with such teachings on the state of nirvana. And the way to do that is to cultivate the practice of the 3 higher trainings.
다 추지 지선 덤비 추 주반에 추 냥년데 비지선 덤바 주바데 견도 저서는 냥데서 조비 공사라 조선 점바 인라 대도 지선 덤비 주바 자만에 털비체도 슈반놈도 tum벌로바 인비 체로 인말 다 추지 지선 덤비 추 접세야데 추 냥년데 비 지선 덤바 대 톱제지 남라 라바데 송요리 인데 대다 근데 라비자가 간데서 중벌했으나 겐디라 잡서 손에 겐디다 남주비 조서 송고요와 조서 좀이 건데 잡서 고요와 다 남주비 조서 좀이 건데 잡서 조연데 겐디게요 그게 냔데 토비 체도 남는 거요래 근데 대단 틈비 두발 잡아 라버 잡아대 다 냔데 지서 틈비는 남는 라바데 차도요래 근데 이제 단다 겐딜 잡서 납잖아 용요.
So in this, when one practices in such a way, one is cultivating a path that conforms to, and is in accordance with the teachings that lead to liberation, lead to nirvana. So here, when one has gone for refuge to the Sangha jewel, having got refuge to the Sangha jewel, the Sangha jewel are practitioners who have their goal as liberation, trying to achieve liberation. They're cultivating, they're training the path in order to achieve the goal of liberation. So therefore, one needs to see the Sangha jewel as companions along such a path leading to liberation. So having gone for refuge to supporters. So having gone for refuge to the Sangha jewel, the corresponding practice to take up is to rely upon the Sangha jewel as supporters along the path, the path leading to nirvana. Yes.
네. 그래다 온보면 그거 잡아서야 요 온보고 돈바세다 돈다 지고와 온보 고 세나 고 세나 초도요지 다 온보 파 초마 지고지네 온보고 소 돈이야이나 온보고 돈바세 kon이 지고 차도 요로 이마 다 온보면 그거 온보고 돈바세야 돼 가르스게 요세나 온보 그게 노용에 소라 그다 밤에비 온게 녀모집이 요나 온부시반 초로지 대지선에 이 로네 다 녀모제 요로 대가 된된 초마죠지 그 남주에는 바요지 전시 때문에 거네 녀모집이 요나 온보 초마죠지 또 가내야 되라 온보 메고 바자와함 온보고 동바스.
So next, having completed the first set of subdivisions, we move on to the second set of subdivisions. And the first one is that of not exciting the sensory faculties. So here, not exciting the sensory faculties is also equivalent of what we say restraining the doors of the senses, restraining the doors of one's sensory faculties. So here,
not allowing the senses to distract, not allowing the senses to distract, because there can be excitement for the virtue. There can be excitement for the realization of virtuous experiences. So, not allowing the senses from distraction.
Yes. So not allowing the senses to be distracted.
Scattered. Not allowing the senses to be scattered.
So not allowing the senses to be scattered to the sensory objects. So here, another word Rinpoche used was that of lost, one being one's attention being lost towards to those of the sensory objects. So towards the objects of the five senses, the desire objects of the five senses. So here, one needs to guard one's sensory faculties from being distracted towards such objects, desire objects of the senses, because if once it is lost, once it's distracted, then the mind is led towards these objects of desire, and then one generates the afflictive emotions. The desire and so forth. These different afflictive emotions then arise, and so therefore one needs to, one must not allow this. One must not allow this to happen. So one does so by applying effort, and then using mindfulness, and alertness. Mindfulness, alertness, and one stops the sensory faculties from being distracted towards the objects of desire. Yes.
대라 잡서 송이죠. semjena nyengse wachine chewa pongo. Tuyu kunjung chobala tomba chawane nimare reji kunjong chobar chawa. Tate jisen ombo go tomba amo ombo me go chawa se yachi. Ta labi she yonda ba longwa se yan de la lomba jinnis lemba se ya yung yoro da chigwarwa. Lomba jinnis lemba se. Da sanje ji jebi labi she se sonje jebi labi she len se ya da lomba len se ya chigwa imbare. Da 다 손제를 잡서 송한 힌두 이마다 손제제 라비제 손제제 송베다 넘바 진니스 렘바스 근데 다 넘바 그게 송가라 몸보지 위어와 이자 롱게 로초도 좀 제네 레타 야보송 도게니나 난다 벨롱이 넘바다 레네 게스 아니 데 마조나 아니 gemye 대형 마저나 년년에 나제 봐서 니마르리 domba nda 된데제네 그런게 뉴소 진리서 domba는 거래서
So this is the first of the second set of subdivisions, and the second one is that of taking up the precepts correctly. So here it says you should take up the training set forth by the Buddha, as many as possible. So here taking up precepts simply refers to taking vows. So the various trainings set forth by the Buddha come in the form of different types of vows. So one should take the vows as many as possible, though one should take them as many as they can suit one's mental capacity to practice. Those with good ability can take the full ordination, and those of middling capacity can take the vows corresponding to those of the novice, or the Getsu novice ordination, and those.
The best one is the full ordination. Then the middle one is the Tatisva, the Getsu ordination. Then the lower one is the 5 precepts.
So the
then even one kind of that, and then the 8 precepts, which is taken for one day.
So those for the best ability can take the full ordination of the Gelong vows, and those of the middling ability can take the 36 vows of the Getsu, the novice ordination. And if those of the lowest, if not, then one can also take the 5 precepts of the householder vows. And for those who can't even do that, they can take the one-day vows, such as the 8 minor precepts and so forth. Yes.
이말다 semjena nyengjewa chawa asa 대간데를 선하는 아주 단다 잠로 전에 nombe temba shubар바 다 nombe temba shub아인데 nombe temba 해야 돼 간데지 레스나 제는 세와 bombe 찬이 야야지 레스 세와 노밤에 지바 세와 bomba 다 된데 얘네 semjena nyeng제외고는 세와 bomba 제고 요레스 송이바
Just before this, Rinpoche said so the last one is the 8 precepts. So the which means include minor precepts, because there's a Pasimosa, it's 8 precepts, then the minor 8 precepts. So I'm saying 8 precepts.
So the 8 one-day precepts. So then next is to be compassionate towards living beings. Having taken refuge, then one enters into the Buddhist teachings. One enters into Buddhist teachings, and the essence of the Buddhist teachings is to abandon harm and injury towards others. So one should strive in this field, due to the thought of compassion, due to the motivation of compassion, one should abandon as much as possible causing harm and injury to other beings. Motivated by compassion, one should abandon as much as able harm and injury to other beings. Yes. So then the next subdivision is that, next theme is to strive to make periodic offerings to the 3 jewels. So having gone for refuge to the 3 jewels, every day one should perform refuge, and one should take refuge in the 3 jewels, and then also make offerings to the 3 jewels. Perform different kinds of offerings to the 3 jewels. So with regards to offerings, there are many different types or different classifications. There are the external offerings, such as incense and flowers and so forth. And there's also the offering of one's practice. The reason for that being that the word offering in Sanskrit is that of puja. Puja is has a connotation of pleasing, and so pleasing to the holy mind of the 3 jewels. So here, when one makes offerings or puja to the 3 jewels, one is trying to please the 3 jewels, and there's no greater pleasure to 3 jewels than oneself practicing the Dharma. So therefore, one can also make external offerings, but at the same time, one can make an offering of one's practice. By practicing the Dharma, then this is mainly what pleases the 3 jewels. So one can make an offering of that as well. So here, we have completed the subdivisions corresponding to those of the compendium determinations. And then we move on to the next section, which is how the precepts of refuge appear in the oral tradition. So here, these oral tradition instructions are those of the Lamrim, the lineage lamas of the Lamrim tradition, how they are practiced, and so they put it down as actual instructions. And these are divided into what we call the special precepts and the general precepts. So the first one, the special precepts, are explained in terms of the proscriptive precepts and then the prescriptive precepts. So proscriptive precepts are those that, things that we should not do. So here, when the proscriptive precepts here says that having gone for refuge to the Buddha jewel, one should not go for refuge to other worldly beings. And then having gone for refuge to the Dharma jewel, one should abandon harming or injuring other sentient beings. And having gone for refuge to the Sangha jewel, since one sees the Sangha jewel as the conforming support, support that conforms to the practice of the path that leads to liberation or nirvana, then one should realize the Sangha jewel as that. So in this way, due to that, one should abandon associating with the outside path, practitioners of the outside path who do not possess a similar goal or a similar object of their path. Yes. Yes. So here in the text it says the worldly deities such as Rudra and Vishnu, these are not fitting objects of refuge. They cannot be, one cannot hold them as one's ultimate or final object of refuge. The ultimate or final object of refuge is only the three jewels, simply because the Buddha has abandoned or exhausted all faults, seized all faults, and also possesses all good qualities. So therefore, the Buddha and its teachings, as well as the practicing community, are the ultimate objects or the final objects of refuge. So other than the Buddhist three jewels, the outside non-Buddhist paths, the founders as well as their teachings have faults, and hence it cannot be considered as the cannot be considered as the ultimate refuge. Similarly, other worldly deities also cannot be considered as the ultimate or final refuge. However, one can relate to the these worldly deities for temporal purposes. Like for the time being, if one requires certain aid for a certain task to be accomplished, then one can do what we call entrusting activities. So one can do so by, for temporal purposes, such as one can perform offerings of incense and tea and so forth, such activities towards certain divinities that reside within the mountain, mountain divinities, or divinities residing in trees, or the nagas who reside in the serpent-like naga beings that reside in bodies of water, like oceans and rivers and lakes. So to these beings, one can perform the offering of incense and so forth, to entrust activities requesting their help to achieve temporal tasks. But one cannot go for refuge to them. One cannot entrust one's entirety to them, simply because within the class of the 6 realms of cyclic existence, the classes of 6 realms of cyclic existence, these beings of the hungry goat, the divinities of the mountain as well as the trees, these are considered to be beings belonging to the hungry ghost realm. So therefore they are not fitting objects of refuge. And the nagas who reside in ponds and lakes, these are considered to belong to the animal realms. And then we as humans, having achieved this human rebirth, this human body, we're considered to be beings of the happy migratory realms. So therefore it's considered to be higher than these hungry ghosts or animal realm beings who are considered to be of the lower realms, beings of the lower realms. So therefore, it is not right that we go for refuge to these beings. However, it is the ultimate refuge is the 3 jewels. However, one can relate to these beings with the entrustment of activities for temporal purposes. Yes.
메티지는 개발라서 삼바의 교회 생전은 노바는 세와 bomba 이 말이다. 단다 메토도 놀라서 봐라. 다 대바 동자시에서는 단 칭와니 남 답이 담바다. 고래 주바 다 종원도 주바다. 오늘 시공도 주바다. 나고 뭐야. 그게 도저히게 왜냐요. 메티진도 그런 거 맞춰야 되는데 남매도 돈 쓰이나요. 근데 이게야 약간 용녀하다 같은데 소리. 단 너는 삼바도 저기 semjen no se pongo res. Da sambe no se ya de da porque joba muso masamachi. Semna samdebe gala porque control no chi de no ba chi go sambo no de che na sambe no ba. 자기가 와. joven no ba se de joba muso. 칸에 층에 마셔 왔다 봐. 하나는 라비 joba sam바다 된다. joven no se. 된대 정도 말이야, 정말.
So the next prescriptive precept entails refraining from doing harm or injury to living beings through thought or deed. So here, when one talks about actual deeds, physical deeds, then they include physically beating or hitting animals or humans and the like, then binding them, tying them up or imprisoning them in cages or prisons, whether they're humans or animals. And one should abandon these. And also a nose piercing, piercing their noses, and then overburdening the beasts of burden, such as different animals who are made to carry loads, or human beings that carry loads. One should not one should not overburden them by giving them loads that they are unable to carry, do not have the capacity to carry. And then so here, one should abandon all forms of harm, in these ways towards humans and animals. And here it says harm or injury to living beings through thought or deed. So through thought and deed, the thought refers to not the physical action, but through arising thoughts of anger or intention, wishing others to receive harm, to be harmed in any way. So all these mental intentions of harm should be abandoned. And the actual actions, physical actions, are those, for example, like physically hitting or binding, as mentioned before, or those of harsh speech, harsh speech towards others. All these should be totally abandoned, whether they're physical or mental intentions to cause harm towards humans or animals.
이 말이다. 매체 있는 게 와서 숨어봐. 근데 이제 그게 코로나의 초소세. 그래다 메다 던도서 있는 내가 그 연도 그게 눈도 근데 저게 다 라트야다 dob제야다 근데 이제 근데 돈은 눈도 그게 내가 그 있나 대남 말이 봐 말이. 근데 코로나서 쇼셰진 소와니 쇼셰진 소와 dob진 소와. 이제 코로나서 소와디 소비와 아닌데 대자는 메롱 와메스.
So then, sometimes, in order to perform these tasks, that we use certain animals or human beings. However, we provide them with wages and we provide them with food. So therefore, these forms of employing them for these tasks is permissible, because they're what we call manual labor. They're using their physical strength, as a form of livelihood. So this way, by providing for them food and wages for them, and then employing them for physical tasks, this is permissible. Other than that, one should not intentionally cause harm to any being whatsoever. Yes.
다 숨만에 건조숨은 잡서 이미지죠. 그거 제반도 정말 제바고 견제다 잡서 숨에 좀 못해 봐도 만들어서 숨바로. 나 좀 못해 봐도 만들어서 해야 돼. 간제서 세계어서나 저 건조숨은 이미지게. 건조숨은 그거 답된 게 된데다 만들어서 된데다 정말 매제 숨바로. 다 정말 매제서 해야 돼. 나 간제숨은 어서나 다나 다 다 주는 게 침소직이 논하이나 주 캔랭게는 만행게 nomba 많이 봐. 근데 냠부요 된게 다 nomba 차되게 어려워. 근데 대다도 문제바 제네 로가 제거를 쓰게 말해. 근데 가르스 가르스나 그게 정말 매제에서야 대제게 시가 롱신 군조의 이미지가 돼. 군조도 고반된 게 시가 돼. 롱만 그거 제거를 했어.
Yes. Then the next proscriptive precept entails not agreeing with those who do not believe in the three jewels as a refuge and who repudiate them. So here refers to not associating with those who do not agree with the three jewels, the non-Buddhists, the outsiders. So here refers to those beings who have no faith in the three jewels, or who criticize, who repudiate or criticize the three jewels. So one does not associate with them. And so here, what does it mean by not associating with such beings? Not agreeing. Mitumba, the word in Tibetan, mitumba means not being harmonious with them. But here doesn't mean that we should discriminate against those who do not believe in the three jewels. For those who do not acknowledge or do not accept the three jewels as their refuge, or who criticize the three jewels, what we should avoid when we're hanging out with these people, we're with these people, is that we should avoid being affected by their tendencies, their tendencies or their habits of their personalities tending to criticize and to not believe in the three jewels. So these tendencies or these habits are what we should avoid being affected by. So this is what it means here by not agreeing or not associating with those who do not believe in three jewels or criticize.
So I'm saying that, of course, there are so many who live together, associated or live together, that who has faith to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and who do not have faith, but there are so many living together. So it is not saying that you must say, separate from them. You live separate from them. It's not saying that. So the emphasis is to not be harmonized with them. So that is so the wrong views, the wrong views, the criticizing the Dhamma Sangha, the karma, so forth. The criticizing the wrong view what they have, so to not say to not harmonize with their wrong view, not to get affected by their wrong view. So that's what is explained here, to not be harmonized with them.
So there are many occurrences whereby those people who believe in three jewels and those who do not believe are living together or together in a congregation. So what we have to avoid is to avoid being in harmony with their wrong views towards the three jewels. So this is the essence of this prescriptive precept. Yes. So whether we have heard, please engage in actual practice. Short mandala offering on page 27. Page 29.
Yesterday, when Rinpoche mentioned about the other traditions, the Pampoka Jusaji Nima and Giru, so Rinpoche that time mentioned the Lama Tsongkhapa tradition is different from those, so that the way it is presented. Different from those, so that that's maybe this to bring up that precise what specified something special from Demo, but different. That's what mentioned. I think here the word here this section is talking about differentiating from others, founders, the outsider, the other religious teachings. So I think it is in English book, the Lambrim, maybe it talks about the Buddhist teacher. I think if you mention Buddhist teacher, where it says the founder of the Buddha Dharma, which only specifies the Buddhist teacher, then I think it implies, all who teach Buddhism. But of course, we should peer review to all the Buddhist teachers. But I think here it's, I think, basically talking about the founder of the Dharma. So just